Hello, good people. Good evening. It is such a pleasure to meet you. My name is Agus Rifaldi, and my partner is Rizal Muhammad Rifai, and the other is Virginia Francisca. First, I'm going to talk about our presentation, and the title is The Journey of the Beatles. Is everyone in here knows the Beatles? Or anyone ever hear the songs of the Beatles like Hey Jude or Obladi Oblada or I Wanna Hold Your Hand? Alright, there are 4 parts of our presentation. Part 1 is Before the Beatles. Part 2 is First Step of the Beatles. Part 3 is The Invasion of the Beatles. Part 4 is The End of the Beatles. Liverpool, Merseyside, England, July 6, 1957. 16-year-old John Lennon meets 15-year-old Paul McCartney at a church garden party. Lennon's main requirement had just played a set, and Paul had been impressed enough to come up to chat with him. By January 1959, John, Paul, and George, they continued to perform, sometimes performing as Johnny and the Moondogs. Whenever they could find a random drummer, they would play a show. Meanwhile, Lennon met his dude named Stuart Sutcliffe. They became friends. Stuart joined the band on bass. He was the one who convinced to change their name to Beatles, and then Silver Beatles, and then Silver Beatles, and then just finally the Beatles by August 1960. For the next 3.5 months, now they played a lot of shows in Hamburg, even though they were all back in Liverpool. They'd be back several times over the next couple of years. Throughout 1961, the Beatles began to build up a following with the growing masturbate movement. A producer named Berkenford hired the Beatles to tour as Tony Sheridan's backing movement. Epstein as their manager, they were rejected by many music records. However, producer George Martin thought otherwise. He signed the band to EMI's Parlophone label as the band began a recording session in January 1962.
Parlophone released their second single, Please Please Me, on January 12, 1963. This one was a big hit, reaching number 1 on both the Musically Express and Melody Maker charts. On February 12, the Beatles recorded the theme song in one day for their debut LP. Parlophone released the album on March 22, 1963. By My Please Please Me had hit the top of the United Kingdom album chart and stayed there for 13 before being replaced by their next album. Please Please Me had 2 more hits, From Me to You and She Loves You. Beatlemania went next level with their second album with the Beatles, which Parlophone released on November 22, 1963. It eventually became just the second album in the United Kingdom to sell 1 million copies. While the Beatles were hard in Europe, their success didn't quite translate to the United States, but the change with their single I Want to Hold Your Hand, with Capitol Records, released in the United States the day after Christmas of 1963. On February 9, 1964, one of the most famous television performances in history, the Beatles made their American television debut on the Eddie Sullivan Show. Around 73 million people, or around 4.5% an American television show saw the lead perform. April, the Beatles had 1 June 40 of the dead year, Capitol Records released another compilation to continue casing in North American Beatles. 6 with some mods, Queen Elizabeth parted controllable opening all for the Beatles member of the Order of the British Empire.
In October, George Martin and the band decided to focus on making a complete album. Also, for the first time in their entire career, they were able to take their time recording process. In March 166, the Evening Standard, a London-based newspaper, published an interview with John Lennon. Lennon caused quite a bit of controversy when he said, "We're more popular than Jesus now. I don't know which will go first, rock and roll or classic." Around that time, McCartney wanted the Beatles to start playing live again. The rest of the band came up agreed with the idea for touring again. However, on January 13, 1969, the band planned a surprise Rockwood concert right on top of the Apple headquarters in London. The 2 minute set would be the last public performance by the Beatles. As the month went on, it was clear the band was drifting further and further apart. The last time that all four members worked together under the same roof was recorded the song "The End" on August 18, 169. On April 10, 1970, the Beatles formally announced their breakout. A month later, they released their 12th and final studio album, "Let It Be". They also released a documentary of the same name a few days later.